Hey, Dreamy here, and with all three parts of the anniversary, the 6th anniversary of Dragon Ball Legends, finally having been released, I can finally make a list, ranking all of the premium characters from each part of the anniversary from worst to best. My ranking will be solely based on the kind of character's performance, but one thing to take note is that this list is kind of subjective because it's based on my personal experiences with each character. So it's not to be taken as a de facto list, and you have to remember that it is my personal take on the, ranking of these characters. I don't want to waste too much of your time, let's just jump right into it. At number 5, we have Super Saiyan God Goku. And obviously it kind of sucks because it's a ranking, so there obviously needs to be a character at the bottom. And it does feel like very disingenuous because Super Saiyan God Goku is the only anniversary character, the only premium anniversary character who I haven't actually pulled. But overall, I think he's just very underwhelming, right? One of the things that is up for discussions in terms of the 6th anniversary units is that these characters are supposed to introduce a new generation of powerful mechanics. And what does this guy do? Can you tell me? I'm not really sure, you know? He has endurance, which is cool, a knockback green card, and the ability to nullify the enemy's knockback green card, which is nice, but that's about it. The character isn't very impressive, and not to say that he's bad, he's just decent, and unfortunately, being decent is just not gonna cut it when you're competing in a list with some of the most hype units in the game, with their own unique mechanics that help them stand out and compete in the meta in a unique way, bringing something brand new to the table. So Super Saiyan God Goku is just not very impressive, I guess that's what I'll say. And that's why he's placed in dead last on the list. Again, not to say that he's a bad character, just lacks that uniqueness. At number 4, and it breaks my heart to do this, number 4 is Gogeta Blue, right? And this is not a competition between, who's better, Gogeta or Vegito. I love both of the fusions, man, and it just breaks my heart to put Gogeta at such a low ranking, but this is like some cutthroat competition, not playing around here, and unfortunately Gogeta just isn't quite there. Not to say that he's a bad character, again, his unique mechanic would be something known as the Assault Chain, where if you choose to combo a strike arts, what'll happen is that he'll actually nullify counters, right? That's one of his unique abilities, his actually unique abilities that no other character has in the game. And now, with the release of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, that actually is more meta because he does bypass Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's counter with his strike arts, and that essentially gives him an extra, what's the word for it? A kind of extra point for him to have that helps him compete in the current meta. Overall, I think that's really where the character stands. In terms of like sustainability, while in their tagged state, I think it's pretty solid. The character has a tough time being killed because of the constant regen. The synchro gauge charging with the green card and blue card, that really helps you flow and switch characters, charging up the synchro gauge a lot more effectively. And so again, not to say that this character is bad, it's just that you're not really competing with it's not very impressive, I guess. You're competing with some of the best units in the game, and unfortunately, if the opponent knows how to kind of strategize and play around the Assault Chain, the character completely loses value. Because what else is he there for? I guess his blue card is pretty cool after transforming because it nullifies blast arts. So you don't have to worry about armor break cards. And so I guess that is proof, with a bunch of other aspects of the character, of course. And it is proof that Gogeta is not a bad character. He's just not exactly in the running to compete with just how good all of the other characters are, especially the ones in the top 3. Speaking of, at number 3, we have Super Vegito. And again, it really sucks to put both of these characters so low on the list, Gogeta and Vegito, simply because they're really hype. They're the first fusing characters we've ever seen in the game, the first characters to actually kind of fuse mid-battle, and it just kind of sucks because they're put so low on the list. Vegito, I think his main selling point would actually be the Rising Rush. I think it is just so powerful. The ability to nullify Rising Rush defeats or I guess, when you guess incorrectly, you can still land the rush anyways, and it nullifies endurance as well. So it's basically a guaranteed kill with the Rising Rush, nullifying endurance. It's really, really good. I think that's what gives the character a lot of value. And the thing is, in comparison to some of the best units in the game, namely Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Ultra that is, I think, well, here's the thing, right? Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta doesn't have endurance. He can't like cancel enemy buff effects when he's like taking some serious damage, and so a lot of times what'll happen is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta takes a Rising Rush, he doesn't guess it, he dies. It's just very straightforward, and this character can really make that happen a lot easier because the opponent can't guess you, and the moment that rush lands on Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you win. It can land on a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan as well, and it can still do a lot of damage. If placed properly, it can actually kill him as well. And essentially, I think that is definitely where the character's value comes in, where you can just target an opponent and take them out instantly with the Rising Rush. It's just insanely valuable, especially now when there are so many characters with endurance at the bare minimum. And it really does help to mitigate a lot of the RNG aspects of the fight. And it does really allow you to dominate in battle, or at least kind of turn the tables when the odds are not in your favor. I guess that really does help put Super Vegito in the 3rd place on the list, but yeah, it's really easy for him to get caught in a lot of situations, especially, after transforming, because at that point you don't have that many heals, your cover null isn't as consistent, so as Super Vegito, it is actually very tricky, and what a lot of times what'll happen is that you can actually get caught as Super Vegito a lot easier compared to when you're still a tag character as Vegeta and Goku. There's a lot of healing as a tag character, a lot of cover null, and so it's really easy to sustain combos, and you don't really see that same level of consistency when you transform into Super Vegito. So I guess that's definitely why the character isn't at the top, and this is about as high as I could place him. Moving on, at number 2 we have Ultimate Gohan. And I think it's fair placement, unfortunately. I think there are just a bunch of Gohan glazers in the Dragon Ball Legends dev team. I don't think I'm wrong for saying that. But yeah, Ultimate Gohan is really good. Early on in the match, he's nothing too impressive, especially when his unique gauge is still time type. It's just not very impressive. You can charge up his time type unique gauge with the green card to make him go into his attack type unique gauge faster. But that's about it. Right? Before the unique gauge switches for Gohan, he's very underwhelming and nothing too impressive. But when he switches to attack type, that's when shit hits the fan, right? That's when this character becomes insanely busted, super strong, and just completely unpredictable, with a blue card that actually nullifies endurance. And it's not even the LF, right? And I think that's something that you need to take into consideration. A lot of times, when you can't kill the enemy with a Striker Blast, or when you're faced with a character like, say for example, GT Kid Goku, that character post-endurance, he heals his full health, basically, thanks to his unique gauge and such. And this character completely nullifies it with a blue card that's super easy to acquire. The green card as well is really, really strong, gives him cover null and extra damage. Vanish Restoration is just... The character is very versatile, really easy to use, and on top of that, the main ability also reduces enemy vanishing gauge to 0%. One of the few meta characters that I can think of, other than like Ultra Vegito Blue, who can use that ability to the fullest and just clean out opponents using that simple mechanic. On top of that, the ultimate arts of Gohan also nullifies unfavorable element factors, and I think that just gives the character a whole new level of power. Sorry, it's genuinely taking me aback. And while it doesn't nullify blast armor, it doesn't nullify blast arts, it's just blast armor, it's still really strong, because you can do damage against yellow units like Gogeta Blue, for example. And a lot of these other yellow characters who may have endurance, like for example, I guess Gotenks from Superhero, even though the character isn't as meta, it's still something to take into consideration, just how crazy this Gohan is, how many parts of his kit allow him to compete in the meta, and take down a lot of the strong competitors in the meta. But yeah, I think that's a fair placement for him to be number 2. And the only reason he's in number 2 is because number 1 is just that much more broken. Speaking of, at number 1, we have Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and this one is a no-brainer. I don't think anyone's really surprised to see this guy at the top of the list. He's just that good. And I don't really know, like, where do I even start with the character, right? First of all, the blue card, I think this blue card is actually really cool. It takes design aspects from the tag Super Saiyan 4s from Legends Festival, and I think it's really cool. It really helps him be more present on the battlefield, I guess. It allows him to stay in the fight longer because it just restores Vanishing Gauge over and over again. The knockback green card is insane. Oh yeah, not to mention the blue card actually nullifies blast starts as well, which is crazy. It's just right off the bat. The knockback green card is really good. It really helps out with the character. Basically, again, it basically just attacks Super Saiyan 4s, but better. And the ultimate arts is even crazier, right? Because it has like a huge success system with the arts action. So he's the second character to have an arts action, and it actually is insane because it almost nullifies a revive, reducing the restored health by 70%, and destroying all of the enemy cards, reduces enemy Dragon Balls by 3. This is crazy, right? Because as I discussed before, characters like Super Vegito rely on a Rising Rush to actually do damage. And a Rising Rush is actually this Gogeta's weakness, in my opinion. That's where this character kind of falls short, because it's very easy for you to catch Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta with a Rising Rush and kill him just frame 1. Really easy there. But this ability to just reduce enemy Dragon Balls by 3, basically nearly half, right, is crazy. And again, once you're capable of actually using the character with a bit of extra practice, you can actually come to see just how insane this character is. Not to mention the main selling point of the character, which is the counter, right? He counters everything, and by everything I do mean everything, right? Dream cards, special moves, ultimate arts, strikes and blasts. What do I even say? It activates 3 times as well, and while you can't actually combo it with a blue card or an ultimate arts, it's still crazy because a lot of, not every character in the game has several ultimate arts. A lot of times they only have one. If you can nullify that one ultimate arts, you're basically taking away the character's main source of damage. Of course, they're not actually in the meta anymore, but you can think of a few, like Ultimate Gohan, Super Saiyan God Goku. These guys have ultimates, and only one. They don't actually have the ability to draw a second ultimate arts, and you can just completely delete it with Gogeta's counter. That's crazy. The character offers a whole new level of power that we just have never seen before, and on top of that, the unique gauge charges based on damage received. You need to actually take damage from an arts attack to fill up the unique gauge, and it fills up faster than Ultra Gogeta Blues. I think it's like 40%. It says like greatly, right? Greatly charges on unique gauge. It's 40%, and so you need to get hit 3 times for it to be completely full, which is really easy. And a lot of times, the first time when Gogeta's unique gauge completely fills up, he restores a lot of his health and almost returns to 100%. And that essentially, again, while the character has their weaknesses, obviously with the Rising Rush, like I said before, and with the susceptibility to Assault Chain from Gogeta Blue, the character offers just so many mechanics that counters, get it? Because the character, yeah, okay, very funny, counters a lot of the current meta. A lot of the characters just cannot compete with this guy because he's just on a whole nother level. And I think that alone is enough to put him as number 1, not just best in the game, but for this list, the best premium character offered in the entire 6th anniversary of Dragon Ball Legends. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about this list? Is there any kind of placement that you'd actually switch around? Once again, I'd like to reiterate that this is based on my own personal experiences with each character. So with Super Saiyan God Goku, for example, I've only ever fought him in PvP and never actually used him. And in that sense, I may actually be missing out on a lot of things that I wouldn't know of if my enemy performed badly, right? Because if my enemy didn't play well with Super Saiyan God Goku, I wouldn't actually be able to see the full extent of his capabilities, and I think that's definitely something to take into consideration. So if there are placements on the list that you'd like to kind of revise, feel free to share in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If there are any additional criticisms that you'd like to share, also don't forget to do so in the comment section down below. It's more than welcome. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you're notified when I do drop a video in the future. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one. Bye, and thanks for watching.